Thank you so much, Mr. Saxena. Uh, no, when we were there when I was there in DIT for 5 years, Department of Information Technology. Uh, so, yeah. So, one of the key challenges that we were facing is how do you actually make these success stories scale up? How do you do replication? How do you get standardization across projects? And most importantly, what Tanmay was mentioning, how do you institutionalize these arrangements? Because we have gone past the stage. There was a stage when when the people get excited by a pilot which happens in a small town or a district or something like that. Then there are also stages where there will be one brilliant RFP and one great contract that is handed out, and that will continue till the period of that contract, and then that particular project will then fizzle away. So can we institutionalize it and create a structure that is independent of individuals? Today, if you look at India's IT success story, it is not on one individual or one company. There are any number of companies. There are bright people coming out every day.
Can I request the gentlemen and ladies at the back to kindly be a little more attentive and maintain a little silence? Thank you.
Yeah. So we see all around that the success, the IT success in the country is not so individualized. It has now become part, it's become institutionalized in various companies, in the ecosystem around. So how do you create such institutional entities to take forward, to carry forward transformation through ICT? So this was an area which did engage our minds. We came up with different structures. I will just look at one key event which took place, not within DIT, but in which DIT also participated, which was a technology advisory group of unique projects that was constituted by the Ministry of Finance. This was announced by the Finance Minister in his budget speech of 2010. And thereafter, the report of the advisory group, which came out in 2011, was also announced by the FM. And it had some very interesting recommendations, which have far-reaching implications for the way transformation can be done using ICT. It actually suggested that the government create or cost to create national information utilities in the sense of large self-sustaining entities that would be collectively owned by multiple governments and multiple institutions, which would totally operate in the professional space, which will bring forth, which will get within its fold human resource capacities to effect transformation. These NIUs would incubate projects and create self-sustainable financial models and scale it up across the country. So it was a very interesting idea, and it was specifically done in the context of 4 or 5 projects, but it's applicable across the board for many projects. And one of the key projects which it was seeking to address was the goods and service tax introduction, which is now being talked about a lot in the media. How do you create an IT framework shared across the central and state governments to reach out these services across the country in a uniform manner? So it's a very exciting challenge that sought to address through this institutional structure. So when we look at this kind of a structure, the National Information Utilities or NIUs, the institutionalization that was spoken about, it is that we create entities which are actually shared by the governments, multiple governments, and also with private entities, so that we create a flexible structure that has a kind of flexibility of private ownership along with the strategic control that the government brings in and help scale up projects as self-sustaining entities. Now, the way, when we look at the future e-governance going forward, there are some interesting takeaways that we get from the way this concept of NIUs, National Information Utilities, has been taken over by the goods and service tax, what is sought to be implemented. And there are very interesting lessons, and maybe this could be the way forward for some large projects. So I just want to put forth before you. What's one big challenge today across all these projects is harmonization. As Tanmay was mentioning, why should there be so much of a difference in the way things happen across the north and south? Why can there be not a common set of forms and processes? So what is today happening is that states and center are discussing what could be the common forms and processes for the future goods and service tax. These are being tried out through pilot projects across all the states. So all this is happening in a coordinated manner. At the same time, the Union Cabinet has approved in the month of April a specific entity called the Goods and Service Tax Network that will be collectively owned by the central and state governments along with some private entities to help drive this project. So what is today happening is a very, very different kind of a way to move projects forward. What is happening is, one, the government process re-engineering is happening upfront. It is happening before actually the infrastructure is getting created. Second thing that is happening is prototypes and pilots are being developed around these forms which are under discussion. And the third interesting thing that's happened in parallel is the creation of an institutional entity to execute it. So this would probably be one of the ideal copybook ways of doing projects, where you do process re-engineering, you also work on prototypes and pilots which are constantly testing out these new forms. You do it in discussion with stakeholders across states, so you get a kind of harmonization across the different states. At the same time, you create an entity to execute these projects that's also shared in ownership between different governments. So if we can create such sustainable entities, that is one way we can institutionalize whatever change we bring about. So tomorrow, if we have a new indirect tax system in the country with forms that are common across the different tax authorities, across different states, you would at the same time also have an entity that is created which will be able to execute these projects. Similar, a suggestion for creation of such utilities has also been made in the context of the public distribution system. Those recommendations are there. They're also there in the context of other subsidy schemes that are there. So what we need to look at here is that in future, when we think of large projects, let it not be just in terms of a single small geographical spread or a single contract. Let it be in terms of actually creating a sustainable entity. Think about it in that scale, which is beyond individuals. And do it in a way in which there's a discussion across multiple stakeholders, and you decide on common forms and processes that can work across geographies and across states. So this could be a way forward. When we are looking at e-governance, the road ahead, I think the road ahead, we have to more and more see that we create capacities within the government. We actually tap the talent that exists in the country today, bring them into a common institutional framework, and see that the whole transformation happens in a more organized and planned manner. Thank you, sir.